Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. This man scored last night. Yes, Viktor. Could he be the new capo of the Celtic fans? Will he take over the place of Kieran Tierney in the eyes of the Green Brigade in the coming months ahead? Yes, he did score in the 119th minute of the game last night that Paul Tisdale took in for Celtic. But before we talk about that, we're going to talk about the season ahead. Yes, this weekend sees the start of the SPFL season. Football's back. Not as you know it, it's just Scottish football, isn't it? It's absolutely fantastic to be back, and we play St Mirren this weekend. It's a busy month. I'm going to take a look into my predictions for the season ahead. I do think that Celtic will win the league, and I think that we'll win the treble this year. I'm going to say it right from the start. And I know that a lot of people are saying, there's a lot of football to be played, and the objectives of the players and the manager this year will be to win the treble. Whether or not it's Brendan Rodgers' last season at Celtic, that will take care of itself. The fact that it's James Forrest is coming towards the end of his career, I think he would like to end the career on a high and make sure that absolutely nobody can get near him when it comes to the amount of trophies he has amassed over his career at Celtic. And what will the future hold for James Forrest? Well, we'll get into it in the month of August. We play St Mirren at home. I think that we will win that game. It's going to be a hard game, but I think we'll have enough just to get it over the line. Aberdeen away. Can we win that? Aberdeen have strengthened over the summer, but as have Celtic, with a new defender having a medical at Celtic today and another defender possibly coming in the next week or so, valued at £2 million. We'll see how our defence is looking in a couple of weeks' time. We do have 13 days until the squad has to be announced for the Champions League, so I do expect Celtic to dive into the transfer market within the next 13 days. That is the countdown timer that has been started for Brendan Rodgers and co to make sure they do have an extra 2 players that they can bring in after the 14th, as long as it's 24 hours before the game that we play in the Champions League, and we'll find out who we play in the Champions League on Monday. Anyway, after the Aberdeen game, we play Livingston at home, returning back to paradise, and then we have a little cup game as well. In the Cup, and then we play Rangers, and then we've got the Champions League games. So it's a busy month for Celtic, as the league is looking at the moment. When you look at the games, September we have the international break. There are only 2 games pending at the moment. There'll be a couple of cup games thrown in then, and then the Champions League will be starting as well. If we make the Champions League, God hope that we do. I think we will. I think we will make the Champions League this year. As long as we don't get Basel. Just saying. That's my only bogey team, I think. Anyway, as we head into October, I always love the month of October, but there is a little small break in October as well. October, we start at Motherwell, we're away to Dundee, Heart of Midlothian away, and Falkirk at home. It's always one of those months where it's the first time. No, there isn't, because there's a break at the first week, and then we play. Yeah, so I always hated October really as a month, because there was never any Celtic games on, because it's always international break when it's my birthday, and it was a sickener. It was crap, to be honest. All you want to do for your birthday is go to the football and go out on a bender. And there was never any Celtic games. It's hard to do it with Scotland, isn't it? It's really hard. Anyway, we move on to November. We play Dundee United, Kilmarnock and St Mirren and Hibernian all in the league, and there's only one game at home in November, and then we hit to December, the busy period, because we'll still be Champions League games, and there could be a little game, a final to play in December as well. We play Dundee on the 3rd of December at home, Heart of Midlothian at home. What's the B team for Hearts this season, as well as Celtic? Because Hearts have got a shitload of young players coming through that are actually pretty good, and I watched the B team stuff, and I've got to say, and I don't like saying it because I don't like Hearts, but they have one of the best youth setups in the country. It's phenomenal what they're doing, and how Celtic are so far behind when it comes to the conveyor belt of youth that's about to come through the Heart system compared to Celtic it's just unbelievable. Anyway, that's enough of that manky mob. Falkirk on the 13th of December away from home. Aberdeen the 20th of December at home. 27th of... I've just noticed, well, there's 3 home games and 3 away games. But we're away to Livingston on the 27th of December. No game on Boxing Day this year. Terrible decision. There's no game on Boxing Day. Motherwell away on the 30th of December, and by that time we head into January and we play that lot at home. Yes, we play the Rangers at home on the 3rd of January. How do you think that game will go? I think by then they'll be looking for a new manager. Anyway, we played Dundee United away from home. I'm still getting used to having all these games in January. We went for years of having no football. We have one game and then we have like a 2-week break. It's like a wee siesta, but we don't have that anymore. Straight into the 10th of January, we have Dundee United at home. Then we have Hearts on the 14th. And there'll be a cup game in January also. And then the 31st, we end the month at home to Falkirk. February, we go into Aberdeen away. It's always about that time when you start to feel who's going to push forward and win the league. And it's normally Celtic. And normally we have January. And will Brendan Rodgers be able to do what he's done before? Because last season we didn't really do it, did we? And you felt that without the winter break, Celtic have always come back stronger after the winter break. And this year we kind of just kept plodding along because it was just mayhem all the way from November right all the way through to January. I mean, and February was an unbelievably busy month due to the Champions League games and the Cup games and everything that was getting played, as well as the league games. So there was no let-up at all. But Celtic did come through with flying colours at the time, although we did drop some points in the league. Hopefully we'll be that far ahead by that point, and we'll have won the Premier Sports Cup, and we'll be on a good run in the Scottish Cup by then. And all will be fine and dandy, and the Celtic supporters will be loving life, and they'll be calling for Brendan Rodgers to stay. But I think he's already made his mind up. Just saying, I think he has. But we forget about that because we've got a fantastic season ahead. As we head into March, there are only the 2 games penned in. Motherwell at home and Dundee United away. And then April, there are only 2 games penned in as Dundee away and then St Mirren away. At home, for the final game before the split. The split that I think that should be done. It's nonsense. It does teams out of hundreds of thousands of pounds that, you know, in the Scottish football, and they talk about money. You would think that clubs would say an agreement. You know, the team that finishes 6th on a points tally, you would look at the table and go, you know, they might have finished 9th or 10th if the league had just stayed normal. And I think that's a big issue, and I think that you would think for the benefit of the clubs in Scotland, go, you know what, we're doing away with the split, because there could be clubs that consistently finish 7th in the league come the split, but then they never get that. They could finish about 10 points higher than the 6th position place, and so could the teams in 8th and 9th, and you're thinking, that's just madness. You think they would just go, for all the chat about money and the lack of money in the SPFL, there's teams that are just saying, I would just deal with it. You know, it is what it is. It's the split. I just think that split's nonsense, and I think it devalues the league. I mean, I'm all for the playoffs and things like that. The playoffs are absolutely fantastic. It gives teams at the bottom something to motivate them towards the end of the season, and then you get the playoffs and see who's going to go down, see who's going to go up. It adds a bit of spice to it. But the split does nothing. The split does absolutely nothing for the game. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Anyway, let's jump on to the fact that Celtic will have a player in for a medical today. Yep, a defender coming in for a medical for a season-long loan. But will Josh Brownhill be joining Celtic? He is under freedom of contract after leaving his previous club. And it's still been suggested that Celtic will make a move for a midfield player. I think that the fact that I've said for a couple of weeks now, I think that Celtic will still bring in 5 players. We're bringing one in today, a defender. We looked at a defender last night. Yep, this guy, Viktor Eriksson, who did score late on. And I think that getting him in let's face it, there looks a bit more to him than than Lagerbielke. Let's be perfectly honest, doesn't it? He looks as if he could be a bit more menacing. Nothing against Lagerbielke. I thought he was a fantastic player who also scored in Europe with a head for Celtic. But Viktor scored last night for his team late on. Will he make the move to Celtic? It's going to cost us around about $2 million that he is valued. Paul Tisdale was at the game last night. Will he sanction the move for the player? And let's hope he does, because I think he looks a bit of a decent player. And when it comes to other scouting options at Celtic, I think that we still need a defensive midfield player. I think we need 2 wingers, and that's just to keep the status quo. I think there still will be a number of players that will leave Celtic. I've got a funny feeling that our young Irish striker may be put out on loan by Celtic before the end of the window. Keep an eye on that one. Yes, not the one that you want to leave the club, but I think that there will be a certain Johnny Kenny will sign a new contract with Celtic, and he will be put out on loan. Whether that's the right thing to do or not, I'm still not too sure. But the fact that the club seem to be pushing the Callum Osman thing and pushing him to say what he's going to do at the club and all the rest of it, he's getting a lot of media. This is Celtic preconditioning you to let you know that Callum's going to be in and around the team this year. Johnny Kenny, we know what he can do. Brendan Rodgers and the backroom staff said towards the end of last season, it is the hard decision we're going to have to make. Do we send him out on loan to get first team football, to improve as a player at a slightly higher level than the one that he played at in Ireland, obviously? Will he be put out to a Scottish club? Will he be put down to England? There is teams in England that want to buy the player. Let's just hope that Celtic do not sell him, because I see him as a long-term replacement for Adam Idah. Johnny Kenny has the potential to be better than Adam Idah. And if Adam Idah's a £9 million player, well, Johnny Kenny has the potential to be a £15 to £20 million player. It's as simple as that. And if Celtic have any ambition at all, they would stick him on a contract, a 5-year contract, like they have with many other players, stick him out on loan for a year, and then bring him back. Sell Idah in a year's time once he's done his bit in the Champions League and proved everyone wrong this season again. He scored 20 goals last season. You can't get rid of a 20-goal striker that's proven in the SPFL when you've got Shin Yamada coming in that's unknown and untested and untried in the Scottish League. You've lost Kyogo Furiashi, we've lost Kuhn, that's a hell of a lot of goals. And, we'll wait and see. There's still a lot of activity to be done. And I'm just thinking it's going to be a fantastic game this weekend. Paul McStay returning to Celtic. Yes, Mr. Paul McStay returning to Celtic. I think that having the maestro back is one of the little bits of genius by Celtic Football Club. It will stop any nonsense, it will stop any discontent from the auditorium, won't it? Any discontent that would have been felt towards the board when it comes to the lack of, or the supposed lack of transfer activity going on behind the scenes. Bringing out Paul McStay it's like throwing a love bomb in there, isn't it? That's what Celtic have done. They've went, right, we're in deep shit here. The fans are starting to get rowdy. We've allowed the Green Brigade to come back in, as you would have seen last night in the video. The Green Brigade will unfurl a league flag tifo this weekend to celebrate last season's triumph as a statement of intent for the coming season. And it'll have a little nod to the Lisbon Lions. And there will also be a second half tifo also in the North Curve. Fans are asked they're thanked for their cooperation and for helping mark this special moments for our legends, their families, our club and the fans. And the fact that the Green Brigade have obviously been speaking to the club again, remember there was a bit of hype towards the end of last season, the fact that the Green Brigade had not spoken to the club in a while and they were not allowed a tifo for the final home game of the season. It's good that they are back on talking terms, and the board have obviously went, right, we need another love bomb. Poof, in goes McStay. That's your love bomb to keep keep them off our back, to keep the wolves at bay, as they say. I think it's going to be a fantastic game this weekend. I think it will. Getting back to football will bring the fan base back together, because I think that the whole lack of games and lack of going to games, and it's people sitting at home watching the transfer window unfold or not unfold as it may be, has put a lot of people in various kinds of moods when it comes to fans, and you see the comment section going absolutely bonkers. But I think that the togetherness, we are stronger together. It sounds like an independence vote rally, doesn't it? Vote yes. That'll wind up the no voters. Anyway, tell me what you think the scoreline will be this weekend. I think it will be a close game. St Mirren have brought in 5 new players, their manager says, and they are stronger than they were last season. Are Celtic stronger? Do you think that going into the squad this weekend we are stronger? Brendan Rodgers has said that the players are not up to 100% match fitness as yet. That will come in time, and they'll definitely be up to 100% match fitness the time the end of the month comes. Is that a worry for you, that they're not 100% match fit? Or is it just standard at this time of year, considering they've had pre-season and not a lot of them have played a full 90 minutes? Although the last game should have been the game where you had a lot of the first team out really pushing together. Anyway, pre-season's over. It's back to business. So on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.